why an Indian student should choose Volgograd State Medical University for their graduation, for their MBBS.
What makes me proud of my university? It's one of the oldest institutions, and the first doctors graduated from our university at the beginning of the Second World War.
My goodness.
So that was the time when our doctors already were helping the soldiers in the battlefield.
So what do you say about this? Girl safety, how difficult it is to handle in Russia?
Well, I need to say first of all that Volgograd in general is quite a safe place.
Which parents ask us is about the clinical exposure, because students are going to become they are the future doctors. So how they get the clinical exposure, how many hospitals are associated with Volgograd, do this university have their own hospital?
But if I'm not mistaken, as far as I'm concerned, it's like around 100.
So hello everybody, my name is Shashwat and welcome to MediPedia Overseas. And today we have an opportunity to welcome Miss Yulia Epishina. She is the International Department Officer of Volgograd State Medical University in Russia. And as I said, that it's a blessing for us to have her here in India. And she's here to answer all the questions for the Indian students and Indian parents, whoever are choosing Russia as a destination, whoever are choosing Volgograd State Medical University for their graduation. So we will ask these certain questions, but definitely first of all, welcome Yulia ma'am to our channel, and we would like to know from you only. Please introduce yourself so that Indian parents and Indian students can understand that where you're coming from and who you are actually in Volgograd.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for inviting me. That was a big honor for me to take part in this video. So I work at Volgograd State Medical University in the international department, and we deal with everything connected with international students, Indian students as well, all connected with international alumni, with different institutions around the globe, and like universities. We deal with cooperation with different organizations, like hospitals also around the globe where students can take practices, and also with the embassies. So that's what we do.
Perfect. So Yulia मैम का कहना है कि she is the whole and soul for international students. तो सिर्फ उनकी पढ़ाई ही नहीं, उनके लिए क्लिनिकल एक्सपोजर देखना, उनके लिए वहाँ की लिविंग कंडीशंस देखना, बाकी सारी चीज़ें ये हैंडल करते हैं वहाँ पे. Moreover, we want to know from Yulia ma'am that how Volgograd is for Indian student. Why an Indian student should choose Volgograd State Medical University for their graduation, for their MBBS.
Well, you know, when considering entering a university in another country, a lot of factors are of major importance, and all of them like major importance, nothing less important. But you know, the first thing that is to consider is the climate conditions, the location. Volgograd is situated in the south,
Okay.
which is quite good for Indian students because the climate is hotter and milder there.
Okay.
In comparison with Moscow, for example, in Volgograd it's much hotter in the summer, in the spring, in early autumn, and winter is not that harsh.
Okay, perfect.
Because winter is something that is difficult for internationals. But also, you know, what makes me proud of my university? It's one of the oldest institutions, and we actually were founded in 1935.
Correct.
And the first doctors graduated from our university at the beginning of the Second World War.
My goodness.
So that was the time when our doctors already were helping the soldiers in the battlefield. Yeah, so we took part in that too. And also, starting from 1962, we have been welcoming international students, and Indian students were one of the first students that we got like this.
Okay, perfect. So, जैसा कि मैम ने बोला, I will just translate it कि one of the oldest university in Russia, 1935 में establish हुई Volgograd, और even world war जब हुआ तब वहाँ के उस टाइम के भी victims soldiers को treat किया Volgograd की doctors ने. Moreover, international students उन्होंने 1960 में लेने शुरू किए, और आज की डेट में there are how many Indian students in Volgograd
Right now?
right now?
Currently, it's almost 500 Indian students. You know, they say that we've got a really big Indian community there.
Amazing. So 500 Indian students which means that okay, Indians आपको मिलेंगे, आपको languages ऐसी कोई issue नहीं आएगा. Moreover, Volgograd का जो weather है, Indian parents का जो concern होता है mostly कि बहुत colder location में नहीं भेज सकते. And what she said that Volgograd is similar to Indian weather. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा ठंडा नहीं है, बहुत ज़्यादा गर्म नहीं है. तो आप डेफिनेटली जो बच्चे बहुत कोल्डर रीजन में जाने से डरते हैं वो वोल्गोग्राड को चूज कर सकते हैं. सो वोल्गोग्राड प्रोवाइड्स इंग्लिश करिकुलम for Indian students?
Absolutely. For all the international students, we offer two variants of programs in all our faculties. It can be either Russian medium or
Mhm.
English medium.
Okay.
If you choose Russian medium, it's like Russian from the very first day until the very last day.
Yes.
The same goes with English medium. So
Okay.
if you start education in English,
Mhm.
you've got the main course in English, you've got all the classes in English, the exams in English, and like all the course from the very first day until the very last one.
सो सबसे बड़ा कंफ्यूजन जो होता है कि वोल्गोग्राड कहीं बाइलिंगुअल यूनिवर्सिटी तो नहीं है. मैम ने जैसा बताया कि अगर आप रशियन मीडियम चूज करते हैं तो आपको फर्स्ट डे से लास्ट डे तक रशियन में पढ़ाई होती है. अगर आप इंग्लिश मीडियम का कोर्स चूज करते हैं तो आपको इंग्लिश मीडियम में ही पढ़ाई भी होती है, आपके एग्जाम्स भी होते हैं और आप फाइनल एग्जाम भी इंग्लिश में दे रहे होते हो. नाउ देयर इज अ बिग क्वेश्चन फॉर इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स दैट फाइनल एग्जाम जो है रशिया का वो इंग्लिश में होता है, रशियन में होता है. So how is it? Like the GOS exam, is it in English or is it in Russian?
The state exam is the exam which you pass at the end of the main course.
Correct.
We should remember about this.
Mhm.
So this is also like one of the steps. It's also in English.
Okay.
But then after the graduation from our university, just like any Russian institution,
Mhm.
you have to go through the licensing exam.
Correct.
It's called accreditation. And this one is in Russian because it doesn't come from the university, it comes from the government of Russia.
From the Federation of Russia, of course. So the final exam, the licensing exam would be in Russian. However, you get a class from first year till third year so that you are well versed in Russian. मतलब जो accreditation का एग्जाम है, जो licensing का एग्जाम है वो रशियन में ही होगा, लेकिन आपको वोल्गोग्राड या कोई सी भी यूनिवर्सिटी आपको ये पढ़ाती है रशियन ताकि आप फर्स्ट ईयर से थर्ड ईयर तक आप वेल वर्स्ड हो जाते हो रशियन में एंड इट्स नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर यू. Ma'am, is it a difficult exam for the Indian students? Because you have been catering to Indian students for a long time. Have you seen people failing in that exam, accreditation exam?
Well, the first thing I need to say is in general about Indian students.
Correct.
Because, I've been caring about their issues for a long time, and why we love Indian students because they're really similar to Russian ones
Mhm.
in one very important thing. They come to the university to study and to get education and to get success,
Correct.
not to do something else. That is why, me personally, from my own experience, I haven't seen any Indian student failing that.
Okay, perfect. So जैसा कि मैम ने कहा कि जब आप इंडिया से रशिया जा रहे हो तो शी हैज सीन कि सारे इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स जो होते हैं मैक्सिमम वो पढ़ाई करने के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो उनका कोई ऐसा डिस्ट्रैक्शन है नहीं, और अगर आप पढ़ाई कर रहे हो तो फेल हो गए ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. The only thing she wants to convey. How's the living conditions for Indians in Volgograd?
Well, living conditions are really good, very comfortable. We care about the comfort of the students from different sides. First of all, if we talk about our hostels,
Correct.
the hostel facilities are comfortable. There are all the necessary things for daily life. And also, it's very important that all the rooms in the hostels are warm.
Okay. Yes.
Because
the
winters.
heating system is there. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. And in the hostels, we have got comfortable rooms for students to be studying and to be living there, just like comfortable beds, wardrobes, bookcases, everything they need for daily life. Except for that, we have got kitchen facilities, because our students love cooking themselves sometimes.
Of course.
And also, it's really fun when they start cooking together. This is nice. Also, we have some laundry facilities because it's necessary for our daily life, obviously. And one thing that we care about a lot is the health of our students. So that's why we have gyms in our hostels. Yeah, we've got gyms in every hostel of our university. Also, we have one swimming pool. It's in one of the hostels. And we have got a shooting range since this year.
ओके, परफेक्ट. सो एक इंडियन स्टूडेंट के लिए जो भी देखता है एक पेरेंट, सबसे पहला सवाल होता है इंडियन पेरेंट के लिए, क्या वहाँ पे हॉस्टल्स मिल जाएंगे या बाहर रहना पड़ेगा. सो जैसा कि मैम ने बोला कि आपको हॉस्टल्स मिलेंगे, गवर्नमेंट हॉस्टल्स जो कि यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोवाइड करती है, और उन हॉस्टल्स में आपको सारी फैसिलिटीज़ मिल रही हैं. सेंट्रली हीटेड सिस्टम है वहाँ पे, रूम्स में आप वार्म रूम्स हैं, और जैसे हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में होता है कि अभी गर्मी है लेकिन एसी लगा रखा है, तो डेफिनेटली वी आर नॉट फीलिंग एनी कोल्ड. आपको वहाँ पे भी वैसे रूम मिल रहे हैं, साथ साथ में किचन फैसिलिटीज़ हैं जहाँ पे आप सेल्फ कुकिंग कर सकते हो और साथ में मिलके आप खाना बना सकते हो. मोर ओवर आपको जिम्स मिल रहे हैं, स्विमिंग पूल्स मिल रहे हैं, यानी ऑल इन ऑल अगर आप देखें तो बहुत अच्छी फैसिलिटीज़ मिल रही हैं. और आप वहाँ पे पढ़ाई करने जा रहे हो जब, तो ये बहुत बड़ा एक पॉइंट है जहाँ पे आपको ध्यान देना चाहिए कि जो भी यूनिवर्सिटी में आपको गवर्नमेंट हॉस्टल मिल रहा है डेफिनेटली आप जाइए और वहाँ पे सेटल हो सकते हैं. वोल्गोग्राड ऑल्सो सीम्स लाइक अ गुड यूनिवर्सिटी जो कि ये सारी सुविधाएं दे रही है आपको. When Indian girls are so Indian parents जब भी whenever they are sending their girls to a different country, the major concern is, are girls safe in Russia? So what do you say about this? Girl safety, how difficult it is to handle in Russia?
Well, this is a popular question, to be honest. I heard it many times. Well, I need to say, first of all, that Volgograd in general is quite a safe place.
Okay.
Really quite a safe city. Even if you go out late in the evening, you do not expect like being stabbed or something like this.
Yeah.
This is the first thing. Also, like, you know, our city is much quieter than the capital cities, which also makes it quite safe. And one more thing that is necessary to remember, not only in terms of safety of girls, but in terms of safety of all the students. We supervise them 24/7, everywhere. The first step when we start supervising them is in the hostels. So there is the hostel administration who supervises the students. Also, there are people who are responsible for some certain parts of the process of supervising, like they visit their rooms, they check whether there are some conflicts or not, and so on and so forth. And there are also people who are called curators.
Okay.
Maybe you heard about this. These are the people who supervise them during the whole their period of education.
Okay.
Like when you come to the university, the students are divided into groups,
Okay.
like classes at school. And there is a certain person, a professor of the university, who is responsible for this or that group.
Okay.
So let's say a person has a problem, a girl has a conflict with another girl.
Okay.
Then this girl can call the curator and say, like, Marivanna, I've got a problem. This girl is trying to bully me. And then the curator invites both girls and they settle the conflict.
Okay. So this is a very good thing because see, understand, प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं होंगी ऐसा ज़रूरी नहीं है, बट प्रॉब्लम्स हैं अगर तो वो सॉर्ट की जा सकती हैं. इन्होंने क्यूरेटर्स अपॉइंट कर रखे हैं जो कि आपके पूरे 6 साल का सुपरविजन देते हैं, जहाँ पे आपकी पढ़ाई को भी ध्यान दे रहे हैं, कोई कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उसको भी देख रहे हैं, हॉस्टल में कोई प्रॉब्लम है तो वो भी, तो विच इज़ अ वेरी गुड थिंग विच आई एम हियरिंग फ्रॉम यूलिया मैम, एंड इट्स सच अमेजिंग बिकॉज एज एन इंडियन पेरेंट आप बार बार जा नहीं सकते हो वहाँ पे, बट एज अ गार्जियन दे आर लुकिंग आफ्टर योर गर्ल्स और योर चिल्ड्रन. और मैम ने कहा कि गर्ल्स की सेफ्टी नहीं, बाकी बच्चों की भी सेफ्टी बहुत रिक्वायर्ड है, तो दे हैव अ वेरी गुड सुपरविजन सिस्टम which is a good thing. One more thing when arise from this question, that okay, so are there any separate boys girls hostel like this?
Hostels, no, unfortunately, because this is not traditional for the Russian
Of course.
Federation. But,
Yes,
you know, they live in different rooms and
Of
even on
course.
different floors.
Okay, perfect. And how tough it is for an Indian student to get into the Russian culture, because the language is different, of course, and the culture is different.
Absolutely.
So, I believe that we are way apart in cultural this thing, but of course having very good relationship with Russia. So how do you see?
Well, as a worker of the international department, I see it from different angles, to be honest. First, my own experience. From my own experience, Indian students learn Russian much easier than many other people. I don't know why, really.
Okay.
Maybe because they have like good communicative skills, maybe some pronunciation things are similar. This is the first thing. The second thing, again, as a member of the international department, we are concerned about the building the community. For us, you know, why we are on the third place among all Russian institutions according to the number of foreign students.
Okay.
Because we want this intercultural community to be united, and to be we want our students to learn how to act in this intercultural community. We're trying to do it in many ways, you know. This actually helps them to get merged into the Russian community as well. The first thing, we have got student councils. All the Russian universities have student councils for sure.
Okay.
But in some universities there are separated student councils, like one for Russian students, one for internationals.
Okay.
We don't do this.
Okay.
Because we have one student council for all of the students
all
to be together.
Okay, perfect. So, and there are some technical questions like NMC guidelines and about the accreditations. So, Shipra ma'am will continue for those questions. But I feel that if, as a student, I choose Volgograd, it seems like a very promising city and a promising university for me. However, I just want to understand from a student point of view that as a student, do I get enough opportunities to, you know, after studies, if I want to explore other options, like if I want to do some work in research, do I get that edge in Volgograd? or how it helps me to go for exams like PLAB and USMLE or AMC, or
That's
next for that matter?
a very important question. Thank you for asking, because also I know about parents' concerns and students' concerns about these things. Well, there are a lot of opportunities. Let's start from the opportunities that our university can offer.
Mhm.
Well, for example, when you finish the main course, you pass the licensing exam, you can stay in Russia and apply for residency.
Correct.
This is PG, postgraduate education, and there are two variants. So you can take either an ordinary postgraduate course, which is on paid basis,
Okay.
but on the other hand, you can apply for the quota of the government of the Russian Federation
Okay.
and get residency for free.
Okay.
My colleague who works with me in the international department, he's also Indian.
Okay. So
He graduated last year. We
Oh.
helped him to apply for this program, and now he studies for free.
all right. So government is sponsoring his studies there.
Yes,
Amazing.
absolutely.
So PG, postgraduate program. That's also another question. It was the part of the answer that you gave me already. That
Mhm.
बहुत सारे लोगों का ये होता है कि क्या मैं रशिया में सेटल हो सकता हूँ, अपना MBBS पूरा करके PG वहीं पे कर सकता हूँ क्या? तो this answers your question that yes, you can do PG. Even आप फीस पे करके भी कर सकते हो और आप फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट में भी कर सकते हो. जैसे कि मैम का कलीग है, इंडियन है वो, उन्होंने UG वहाँ से करी और अभी वो PG वहाँ से फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट कर रहे हैं यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वोल्गोग्राड में. So definitely it's an amazing thing. So ma'am, you could continue with your questions and
Already Shashwat sir asked lot many questions, but major questions which parents ask us is about the clinical exposure, because students are going to become they are the future doctors. So how they get the clinical exposure, how many hospitals are associated with Volgograd, do this university have their own hospital? Please let us brief about this.
Yeah, this is also an important question when in terms of medical education.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I should start with a funny phrase that some members of our administration of the university say that our university is 90 kilometers long. Well, we understand, of course, that the main campus cannot be that long.
Yes.
So the reason why we say so is the fact that Volgograd itself is very long. It stretches along the Volga River. And our university has, first of all, our own clinics, the Clinic of Family Medicine and 2 dental clinics.
Okay.
Then we have got the hospitals of all over the city where our students get this kind of exposure, clinical exposure. When they go for internships and practices, they go to different hospitals and clinics of our city.
Okay. So we have like around how many hospitals and clinics would be there associated with the university?
To be honest, I wouldn't say the exact number because, the number changes also year by year. But if I'm not mistaken, as far as I'm concerned, it's like around 100.
Oh, okay. So उनका कहना कि 50 हॉस्पिटल्स एंड क्लिनिक्स के अराउंड एसोसिएटेड हैं. स्टूडेंट्स खुद के जो यूनिवर्सिटी के क्लिनिक्स हैं उसमें भी एक्सपोजर ले सकते हैं, जो गवर्नमेंट और हॉस्पिटल्स के साथ वोल्गोग्राड, क्योंकि खुद अपने आप में वोल्गोग्राड के जो हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन है, सारा 90 किलोमीटर के रेडियस में आता है. तो बहुत बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटी है एंड बहुत सारे मेडिकल हॉस्पिटल्स हैं जहाँ पर बच्चे क्लिनिकल एक्सपोजर ले सकते हैं. The next question which keeps on coming, like if there are many students who don't want to come back to India in the summer vacations, they have a mindset if they can do some clinical exposure or internships in the hospitals. Is there such opportunity available?
You mean in Russia?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is an opportunity, of course. So our students actually do a variety of things when they are on summer vacation. Some of them want to come back to
Yes.
India. And if they do, we have one more option which appeared this year. We got a cooperation with Medanta Clinic.
Medanta Clinic.
Yes, Medanta, the Med City, because one of the heads of this clinic is our alumnus,
Okay.
which makes us so proud. But on the other hand, some students feel like it might be like too expensive to get back to India, and so they decide to stay in Russia. Then they get practices in Russia in our
Okay.
clinics.
अगर आप समर वेकेशन में इंडिया वापस नहीं भी आते हो, अगर इंडिया वापस आते हो तो वोल्गोग्राड का जो टाइप है वो मेदांता हॉस्पिटल के साथ है, वहाँ पे भी इंटर्नशिप कर सकते हैं. अगर रशिया में रहते हैं तो वहाँ पे भी इंटर्नशिप कर सकते हैं. बट एक चीज़ ज़रूर है कि जो रशियन लैंग्वेज है, तब तक आपको रशियन लैंग्वेज की फ्लुएंसी अच्छे से आनी चाहिए सो दैट इंटर्नशिप अच्छे से हो सके. द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन विच कम्स इज अबाउट द कैडेवर्स. Like, are the students provided proper cadavers, or they do their education on students have notion that okay that practice is going on dummies. Indian students are not given opportunities to interact with the live patients, or maybe some there is biasing for the Indian students? How it is that?
Yeah, I heard this question many times as well. I don't know why, really. Maybe this is a concern also. Well, there are different cadaver courses, so all medical students are supposed to be working with real patients, because without this, you cannot become a real doctor.
Yeah.
This is one thing. Well, as for dummies, as you call them, that's a funny word. We have got phantom equipment.
Okay.
So our university provides this as well, because the first year students, for example, they're not prepared to work with cadavers on the one hand, and the students have to start training step by step.
Yes.
First of all, using the phantom equipment. Phantoms are kind of robots.
Yes.
Like there are different phantoms for different subjects, a different phantom for dentistry, another type for gynecology,
Yes.
another type of surgery. They give reaction to the students, so that before they start communicating with the real patients,
Yes.
they could see how it could act, how it could work. In our e-medical educational center, we also have, like, simulation rooms
Okay.
where students can learn what kind of equipment is used in real hospitals and on what stages they need to use it.
ओके ग्रेट. सो इनका कहने का मीनिंग है कि हर स्टेज पे मेडिकल एजुकेशन में डिफरेंट इक्विपमेंट्स यूज़ होते हैं. पहले दिन से डायरेक्ट पेशेंट्स के साथ इंटरेक्ट करना डिफ़िकल्ट है, क्योंकि अभी बच्चों को कुछ भी नहीं आता. तो फर्स्ट ईयर से लाइक फैंटम से स्टार्ट होता है, कैडेवर से स्टार्ट होगा, फिर सिमुलेशन सेंटर्स यूटिलाइज होंगे, देन लाइव इंटरेक्शन विद पेशेंट्स होगा, स्टेप बाय स्टेप होगा, सो दैट आप डायरेक्टली मतलब पेशेंट्स का इंटरेक्ट करने से पहले बाकी सारी चीज़ें सीख जाओगे. Great. Then again, the questions which come about is like if students graduate from this university, like they can practice back in India, they can settle down in abroad in other countries. Is this degree valid? How about the accreditations of this like university?
Yes, it's a very, very important question. Like, I feel like every question of yours is important, because I know that there are a lot of concerns. Well, our university has international accreditation, which is highly important, because, students can face some problems when they go to other countries after graduating, and they need to confirm their diploma authenticity. For us, it's not a problem, because we are included into the World Directory of Medical Schools. The body that accredits medical institutions around the globe is WFME. This is World Federation for Medical Education. And ECFMG, if you know this organization,
yes.
yeah, we work with them directly.
Okay.
So our students, when they decide to go to other countries to study, let's say UK or anything else, they can easily email us, and we confirm their diplomas in several minutes.
Okay, great. So अगर किसी स्टूडेंट को इंडिया में सेटल होना है या यूएस में सेटल होना है, यूके में, यूएसएमएल प्लैब सारी रिकॉग्निशंस एंड एक्रेडिशन यूनिवर्सिटी के पास है. और उन्होंने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बताई है कि अगर कोई यूनिवर्सिटी से मेल आता है जिसमें आपको पीजी करने के लिए जाना है अब्रॉड में, अगर उनके मेल आता है यूनिवर्सिटी में टू चेक बैक कि ये स्टूडेंट ने आपके इंस्टीट्यूट से एजुकेशन की है, तो भी यूनिवर्सिटी उसको रिवर्ट करते हैं, उसको उनका बैकग्राउंड बताते हैं कि यहाँ से स्टूडेंट ने पूरी अपनी डॉक्टर की डिग्री की हुई है. बहुत ही अच्छी चीज़ है ये. सो these days the question is also coming about the NMC guideline, which is the major concern of Indian students and parents, because they do not want that they spend 6 years in Russia and they spend lot of money in Russia. It's the matter of students' career, and if they come back to India, that degree is not valid, right? So how Russia is cooperating with Indian curriculum, how the university is following the NMC guidelines?
We are trying to follow NMC guidelines in all possible ways, and we are actually monitoring them. Like, every upgrade which is issued by NMC is already regarded at our university. The last year's upgrades to the NMC guidelines were actually already regarded, and we are taking them into action. So we do not stand on one place. Like, we're developing, and also we're trying to make our curriculum suit the guidelines.
Okay.
So when our students graduate, they've got the diploma and all the necessary documents proving their diploma and helping them to be able to practice here.
Okay, so what about the internship? Because the main concern which is coming is there that in Russia the internship is in like rotations, but NMC guidelines, they want a internship one separate year. So how things are going to happen?
we are developing some changes to the curriculum. Actually, currently, while I'm here in Russia, the process is still developing.
Okay.
But we have worked out a solution according to which our students, when they graduate, they will get a diploma and a separate document, which is also kind of a diploma, proving that they had a full year of internship,
Okay.
which was not interrupted.
Okay.
Because, previously in the Russian curricula, the internships were like disrupted. They were separated from year to year.
Yes.
But nowadays we're going to provide it in a different way so that it would suit the guidelines.
Okay, great. So वोल्गोग्राड यूनिवर्सिटी एक ऐसी है जिन्होंने सबसे पहला स्टेप उठाया है रशियन फेडरेशन के साथ, जहां पर एनएमसी गाइडलाइंस को, ताकि हम लोग पूरा फॉलो कर सकें, बहुत ज़्यादा ग्रेट स्टेप्स लिए जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पे उनका कहना है कि जो डिग्री है बेसिकली हमारी, जो एमडी की डिग्री है, उसको तो हमें 6 इयर्स की ड्यूरेशन का ही डिप्लोमा मिलेगा बेसिकली, बट उसके साथ साथ 1 ईयर इंटर्नशिप का भी साथ में सर्टिफिकेट मिलेगा कि 1 ईयर की इंटर्नशिप स्टूडेंट्स ने कंप्लीट की है। अभी ये करिकुलम पूरा फॉर्म हो रहा है, करिकुलम को भी चेंज करने की प्लानिंग की जा रही है ताकि एनएमसी की गाइडलाइंस को कम्प्लीटली फॉलो कर ले और बच्चे कंप्लीट अपनी एजुकेशन जो है रशिया में 6 इयर्स में ही कंप्लीट कर ले। सो दीज आर द ग्रेट एफर्ट्स विच आर मेड बाय द यूनिवर्सिटी एंड वी आर so thankful to you for making such efforts for Indian students. Like, so what is your review on the Indian students? Like, if the student means how is the Indian students feedback from the teachers, faculties who are teaching in the university?
Well, the feedback from the university or from the students?
From the faculty about the Indian students.
From the faculty. Well, actually, we love Indian students very much. We love very much, and that is why we care about them very much. We deal with all of their issues every year. So, the main feedback from the faculty is about their hardworkingness.
They are hardworking. Yes,
Very
definitely.
hardworking. This is highly important because, many people say that Russian professors are so strict.
Yes.
Like, they're strict about being late to classes, about, like, missing classes, and so on and so forth. Well, Indian students are the ones who actually are capable of achieving 100% success.
Yeah.
That's what professors say.
Oh, great. So these days, students and parents are also worried about the expulsion thing because there are so many videos and reels that are coming across YouTube channels that Russian universities are expelling the Indian students. So
Oh.
have you came across this issue, or how? Like, is this issue coming into the Volgograd University also?
This is a surprising question, to be honest, because, well, first of all, according to the general statistics, some students do get expelled, but according to the general statistics, Indians are close to 0% because really they do try to work as hard as they can. This is the first thing. The second thing, how to be expelled from Russian university. You have to be a bad student, you have to get bad marks, you have to fail the exams, and only then you're expelled. If you are trying to do your best, if you're trying to attend all the classes and do all the tasks, then why should you be expelled?
Is this issue is not coming to
No.
our university? Okay. तो जो बच्चों और पेरेंट्स का एक्सपल्शन को लेके बहुत ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन आ रहा है कि रशियन यूनिवर्सिटीज़ एक्सपेल कर रही हैं, ऐसा वोल्गोग्राड स्टेट मेडिकल यूनिवर्सिटी में नहीं है। अगर कोई बच्चा एक्सपेल होता भी है तो वो अपने कारण होगा, अगर वो स्टडी नहीं कर रहा है, बट कोई भी ऐसा जेनरिक नहीं है कि सारे बच्चे या मेजॉरिटी बच्चे वहाँ से एक्सपेल हो रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। शी इज सेइंग अराउंड 0% एक्सपल्शन रेट है, विच इज़ वेरी नाइस बिकॉज वोल्गोग्राड यूनिवर्सिटी जो है वो इंग्लिश मीडियम बहुत ही ओल्डेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटी है, so that's why they are trying to follow the NMC curriculum, English medium language, and great faculty. So anything else you would like to us that there are so many universities in Russia, so why students should prefer this university?
Oh my God, there are so many things to say. Well, except for what you have already said, we need to remember about many things. Like, I have already said that we're trying to build this very tightly built community. And, we do a lot of activities with students, which is also quite important because I know that not all of the universities do this and not all of the universities do it in this way. We try to do two main types of activities. One of the types is entertainment. The second type is highly educational. As for the entertainment activities, we deal with different holidays national holidays, international holidays, Russian, Indian, Iranian, any kind of holidays. This is the moment when students come together. One of the favorite holidays of our whole university is Diwali, because this is the most colorful day when all the university is painted with mehendi, like all the employees literally. And the second thing is educational activities. We try to bring them to different levels, and we also try to bring them to international levels so that the students would learn not only how to work within the international community inside the university, but also how to deal with major events. For example, this year we're going to have a huge event which is going to influence all the universities in Russia.
Okay.
This is a simulation of WHO, World Health
Oh.
Organization. Yeah. Some of the members of this organization are going to take part, by the way.
Okay, that is really great. It's really good to have so much nice interaction with you. This will definitely help Indian students and parents, because sitting in India there are a lot of questions which cannot be solved. So you are in like right now we are at MediPedia Delhi office, and so it is like it is easy to interact. We can solve the queries of the students. Special thanks to you for coming to India. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So, Shashwat sir, anything you would like to ask her, please continue.
So we'll play a rapid fire round with Yulia ma'am, so that student have आप लोगों को वो सारी चीजें पता चल जाए जो आप लोगों को जरूरत है. So I'll ask questions on your behalf and she'll reply. So first question: is Indian food available in Volgograd?
Yes, Indian food is available in Volgograd, but we've got an Indian cafe. This is the first thing. By the way, one of our alumni actually founded it, and we've got two shops with Indian specifics, like Indian food which can be brought
Okay.
to the city, where they can buy food and cook them themselves at their hostels.
Okay,
Like
perfect.
this.
So, and how is Volgograd expenditure wise, like monthly basis? On monthly basis, if a student wants to stay, how much they spend generally in rubles?
You mean for food, for daily expenses?
For daily expenses, yes.
Uh-huh.
How is it, like expensive
Mhm.
or average, or it's very cheap? How is it, Volgograd?
Well-
like Petersburg is very costly. How is Volgograd?
Yes, completely. I understand what you mean. If we look at the map of Russia,
Mhm.
the closer you go to the capital, the more you go up, the more up go the prices.
Correct.
So in Volgograd, the prices are average. They're not too high, I would say. And for example, like for daily expenses, if a student doesn't want to live a luxury life,
Of course, if a
With
student is
Mercedes.
extravagant, nobody controls that.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah.
if a student has like 10,000 in his pocket, 10,000 ruble a month, can he survive well?
He can definitely, especially if he lives in the hostel.
Yes,
Then
yes.
everything's fine. Our canteen at the university, where you can have lunch, it's very cheap and very healthy,
Okay.
because you can have the full meal there, which
Okay.
is also very important. We usually
Perfect.
advise students like 15,000 rubles per month. Then
Okay.
they survive completely perfectly well.
Perfect. बहुत ही बढ़िया. Moreover, if a student, Indian student wants to settle in Russia, can they do that? And can they have like good salaries? How much, MD, like after completing graduation, how much a doctor can earn there?
Oh, it depends on the type of the doctor.
Okay, perfect.
Well, actually, first of all, there are some Indian students who actually decided to settle in Russia,
Uh-huh.
and this is completely possible,
Yes.
especially if you take the course of residency,
Mhm.
because this is the time when you are exposed to the certain clinic,
Correct.
when you work in a certain clinic, and this way you get variance of employment.
Perfect.
So the salaries are quite average, and it depends again on the type of specialist you become.
करेक्ट.
Yeah.
सो वो आपके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आप कैसे डॉक्टर बनते हो, बट आप वहाँ पे सेटल हो सकते हो, वहाँ पे अपनी प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो, अपनी रेजिडेंसी जो कि पीजी बोलते हैं जिसको, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन, वो कर सकते हो. यू कैन गेट सेटल डाउन. एंड दैट्स इट फ्रॉम माय साइड. So it was amazing having you, Miss Yulia Epishina, at
Thank you.
MediPedia Delhi office, and we got exposed to a lot of things which we couldn't, because since you are part of Volgograd as a city, as a university, definitely you could tell us better, because even if I go there for 2 days, 3 days, how much can I explore?
Of course.
The person who has been there for a long time can tell us the best. So thank you so much for taking out time for us, for our Indian students, and we are looking forward for sending a lot of Indian students to Volgograd State Medical University.
We will be happy. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you so very much for your time, ma'am. Thank you for watching, and आपने जैसा कि देखा है कि हम और यूनिवर्सिटी के ऑफिशियल्स के साथ बैठ के उनसे समझते हैं कि हमारा बच्चा वहाँ पे जाके सेफ रहेगा, पढ़ाई कर सकता है कि नहीं, उसका फ्यूचर पर्सपेक्टिव क्या है. सो टुडे वी हैड यूलिया एपिशिना, who's international department officer of Volgograd State Medical University. And stay tuned with MediPedia for such amazing videos. Thank you so much for watching.